Speaker, I yield to the gentleman from California, Mr. Royce, 3 minutes. He is the original sponsor of the stalking legislation.
The gentleman is recognized for 3 minutes.
I also agree that on the issue on this omnibus spending spree that we're calling a stimulus bill, where we increase from $1 trillion, add another trillion, and push up the GDP, the deficit to 10% of the GDP. This is not the answer. But let me talk for a minute about the Stalker bill, because I'm the author of the first Stalker Act, both here in the federal government and the state level in California. We had in Orange County, California, we had 4 young women who were killed in the span of 6 weeks, and law enforcement had told me at the time that if they'd been able to intervene, they could have protected them. One law enforcement officer said the hardest thing he ever had to do in his life, he was waiting to try to apprehend the man who was going to kill his girlfriend. The man succeeded and then killed himself, and it was 30 seconds too late for the officer to prevent that, or a minute too late. And so the federal law and the state law, the California law, is now, frankly, been copied by all 50 states. But I wanted to share with my colleagues here that our federal anti-stalker law has now been passed in Japan. It's been passed in countries in Europe and elsewhere around the world. I'm still getting calls from legislators about the need to set up this deterrence so that when a credible threat is given against a victim of a crime, she knows when she's being threatened and stalked that that's a felony, that she can take out a restraining order, she can thus make that a felony and get law enforcement involved in order to protect her. Let me just say that I think this resolution is important because what it does is raise the level of awareness around the country as to the necessity of not only law enforcement, judges, but the average citizen to be aware of this. And those who are involved, men and women who are involved in stalking their victims, should understand that under state and federal law, they risk serving serious time in federal and state penitentiary if they continue with this pattern of threats and behavior. Let me also say that I think that in our society, it is really time to figure out how the victims can get access to the information about the laws that we pass. Because too many times we have people, and this even includes in law enforcement, who are not cognizant of the fact that they can step in here and get involved and prevent serious harm before it occurs. So just in closing and yielding back my time, I commend the sponsors and co-sponsors of this resolution, because in calling attention to this special week, National Stalking Awareness Month, calling attention to this, my hope is that all of you can make those potential victims of this crime more knowledgeable so that they understand they have recourse, so that steps can be taken before they're physically harmed. I yield back.
Madam Speaker, I yield 2 minutes.